making capital. Let's try again.
So
Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man, and today we're talking about TV, basically comic book TV. So we're doing a TV recap for the week, which includes Loki. Obviously, Loki came out just last week or this week. What's Sunday like? This week, I guess.
this
week. Yeah, next week, like tomorrow it'll be next week.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois obviously had, I think it's the 2 episodes just before the finale. So that's something we're going to do a recap on. And then there's news, of course, of Jupiter's Legacy being cancelled and my thoughts on that. So we're going to go over... Only thing that excites me about this show is setting up Kang the Conqueror. Hey, Film Elitist, if you want to jump on this stream, let me know. I can send you the link, no problem. So just let me know if you want to jump on the stream. So, yeah. First things first, I've got Enzo here with me, my boy Enzo. We're going to talk it out. Probably have quite a few fights.
Probably.
Our differences in feelings on on Loki, as well as some other things. Let me ask you an honest question just to start off this. By the way, Enzo, tell them about your channel, and then I'm going to ask you an honest question.
Sure. What's up, guys? Do appreciate all the support. And thank you for having me on, Nerd Man. My channel is Big Afford Entertainment. If you guys haven't subbed already, please check out the channel. We do a lot of comic book stuff. We do pop culture. We do real life stuff over there, man. Do appreciate all the support once again. And again, let's get this started, bro.
Yeah, and I will put his the link to his channel in the stream. His channel's much bigger than mine anyway, so I think a lot of the people who subscribe to my channel subscribe to his. But Film Elitist, if you haven't subscribed to Enzo, definitely you should. He's got a great channel. He does a lot of political topics as well, which are really interesting. So let me ask you an honest question, just to start off with some heat straight away. Do you think, one, that Jupiter's Legacy, which one do you think is the better show so far? Or should I say I'll say the first couple of episodes of Jupiter's Legacy versus the first episode of Loki. Which one do you think was the better show?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't watched Jupiter's Legacy yet.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, hold on. I kind of watched, I had it on because I was planning on watching it and something happened and it didn't catch me. That first episode didn't catch me. That's why I haven't went back to it yet. But I heard MSK saying it was good, so I haven't went back to it yet, but I will.
I think it's really good. I think it's really good, and I think it's a much better show than Loki. To be quite fair, at least for the first episode of Loki, it's not really fair to compare that much because we've only had the first episode. Marvel clearly doesn't care anymore. Their continuity is getting fucked up bad, and they don't care. It reminds me of the new Star Wars films. Not only are they bad, they render the OG films irrelevant. That's very interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people have had that kind of response to Loki. Now, I've talked quite a bit on Loki, quite a bit more than I would have done if I wasn't like a YouTube person. I've talked about it on Ashley's channel, Ashley the Widow, aka the Widow, which you should go and see that stream. That was really like a fire debate, it got quite heated. And she brought up the timeline things as well, and I think there's quite a few people who are annoyed. Facts, Max Larry. Yeah, I think there's a few people annoyed at the kind of timeline issues. So we should get into that. But I would say the first thing for me is I do think it's a relatively good show. Like from what I saw of the first episode, I thought that Owen Wilson was very charming in the show. I thought Loki, it gave a good reason to bring Loki back, because there were issues of like, does the MCU, to have any stakes, and when you're bringing all of these people back. But I actually think for what they did and for the emotional journey they took him through by seeing his whole life played out for him, I thought that was worthy. That was worthy of bringing him back for. Now, I don't know how they're going to capitalize on that on the rest of the episode, since they've done that so early. They did that in the first episode, and that's a very powerful moment to do. But I like the show. I'd give it, a good C+. That's a good grade for me. I'm grading it against TV shows in general, everything from Daredevil, like in the same genre. I mean, so everything from Daredevil to Jupiter's Legacy, to The Boys, all of those kind of shows. So I'm grading it on that curve, and for that curve, I give it a good C+, and I think that's a very good grading.
Do you give like Daredevil and those shows a higher grading than this? So far?
I definitely give Daredevil a higher grading, like from the first episode. Absolutely. You're not serious, right?
I'm dead ass serious, bro.
Did you not like Daredevil?
I thought the first season was great. It really was. But I think I was more intrigued with the Loki stuff than I was with Daredevil, because there were a lot of characters. What?
Go on.
But it's because of what?
You're an MCU fanboy. That's the reason you can't tell me like there's nothing. If this was not Loki, you would not give a shit about what was happening. Hold on.
I am not an MCU fanboy, not at all. But Daredevil was part of the MCU. At least it started off that way, and I just didn't like the characters. I didn't like the guy that played Matt Murdock. I thought his acting was pretty weak. And I thought the acting of the other characters weren't that great. So,
the guy who plays Matt Murdock, right? I'll admit, right? It took some time for him to warm up to the character. Right. No, it took some time, but when I finally got what he was doing, dude, he absolutely smokes Loki. Like
what?
It absolutely smokes him. As an actor throughout that show. Throughout that show, if you go from the beginning to the end of that show, and you go from the beginning of Loki's journey to this first episode. So I'm giving you all of Loki in the MCU. The guy who plays Matt Murdock is fucking amazing in Daredevil. Incredible.
He is good. He is good. But there's a reason why he's on Netflix and why Tom is in the movies, right? Because the actors, you won't see that Daredevil actor in he's gonna be in No Way Home, but we'll see how big his role is. But other than that, like he's not gonna be majoring in any movies because his acting isn't that great. He's good for a series.
But you're blowing my mind right now.
He's good for a series.
This guy did a movie level, almost like fucking dude. He was really fucking good. I don't think you realize. Did you see season 3?
I've seen every season of Daredevil. That's the only one I've seen all 3 seasons.
And you don't think season 3 is better? Look, Matt says it himself. I'm gonna say like just before I say Matt's couple of comments, because I said a couple of his comments before. So he says, I'm really excited about the whole multiverse thing. It really got me thinking that they're setting up Secret Wars. Absolutely true. We'll get to that because I think Enzo knows a bit more about that than I do. Daredevil was not only a good show, but better than 80% of anything else the MCU has produced. I would go 99%, Matthew. I think the last season of Daredevil was incredible. It was like a cinematic. It was like The Dark Knight. It was fucking like The Dark Knight. I'm not even joking. Like
The Dark Knight sucks, right?
Okay, all right, yeah. Here we go. The guy who thinks the Dark Knight sucks. So
let me give you this.
We've got it all good.
I'll give you this.
Kingpin was better than every villain. Mm-hmm.
Bullseye was on point. I give you that. Bullseye was the best fucking part of season 3 for me, hands down. Kingpin is okay. I like the guy that plays Kingpin, but
like, Kingpin's okay.
There's just I know it's probably just because he's not big enough for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking big Kingpin as a big husky guy, whatever. So that's the only reason why I didn't believe him as Kingpin. But other than that, like,
so it's just the visual element. It's the
for him, yeah. The visual element, yeah. His acting was on point. And I will say this: Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was better than every season of Daredevil.
Wow, I've tried to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., man, and
how far did you get into it?
I tried to watch specifically the episodes that had Ghost Rider in it.
Okay,
and
that was a fire season. You didn't like it?
Ghost Rider was good. No, it wasn't good, dude. It was like a really, like,
what?
You know, Fox TV level, you know, like one of those cheap shows, man. It was, dude, Daredevil was operating on a whole different other level. And we'll go into this with Jupiter's Legacy because it was the same showrunners. And it's so sad what's happened to this showrunner. He's a fucking great showrunner and writer and a really creative imagination. And he does things with the characters that you don't expect, but that are still true to the core of the characters in the comics as well. His take on Kingpin is one of the best takes I've seen, or translations of, like, you know, what would otherwise be a two-dimensional comic book character into what he'd really be in the real world. Right? That bit where he's just looking at a painting of you know, of just a blank page or whatever, and you see him like meditating, and you know that's because that's the emptiness he has inside. That's his lack of conscience. That's his psychopathy, essentially. He has a lack of humanity inside, and that's why that picture is moving to him. The psychological work he does just in that, I mean, it's just incredible. I you know, I didn't prepare myself for this debate because I didn't know we were going to go into this. Because if I hadn't prepared for this debate, I would have been able to like just nail this. But Kingpin was better than anyone besides Thanos. My friend, film elitist, I agree, but I will respectfully disagree with one thing. Kingpin was better than Thanos, in my opinion, in Daredevil. His plans, the structure of his plans, the way it went back and forth like a chess game with Daredevil was absolutely incredible. I haven't seen anything like that since The Dark Knight, where Joker was, you know, fucking with Batman. He went in, and all of it made sense. All of it hung together. And if you compare it to Thanos's plan, everything, his performance is good, his lines are good, but he does not make sense as a villain. What he does in those films, he could get, as soon as he gets the Reality Stone, he could have finished everything very, very quickly. And there's so many incidents that you can point out in that movie where he's fighting, he's struggling, he's doing things with people that he doesn't need to be doing just so that they can extend that movie longer. So, in my opinion, Kingpin, just in the virtue of, it's a great performance, it's great, you know, better acting, personally, I'd say, than Thanos. Plus, his scenes and his actions make sense. And sorry, here we go. Here we go. I actually agree, Nerd Man. Just being diplomatic, Kingpin was the best MCU villain. Also, everything about Daredevil made me feel like the comics from my childhood coming to life. There you go. So he was being diplomatic, as I thought. Yeah. So I'm not trolling. I can't believe you saw season 3 and you're even arguing this. I'd say Bullseye was a more compelling villain than anyone in the MCU. I might even take Thanos over Bullseye, but I think if he developed for another season, he could have even been better than Thanos. I mean, this is a whole other debate, but like, I really do. I respect a hell of a lot out of Daredevil. I think Daredevil was an extraordinary show, and I wish it had one more season. I think season 2 was the weakest part of Daredevil, and even that had fucking amazing moments with the Punisher. I mean, the Punisher was better in the Daredevil series than he was in his own series.
I'll give you that. I give you that. I watched The Punisher for some reason. I just never got to finish the season. It's just something that was like meh, and then I never ended up watching it. So
yeah,
he was better.
That. Mm-hmm.
He was better in the Daredevil show for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. I think the Punisher. I didn't like the rest of the different things. I didn't like the what's it called, the black guy, and then the woman. I didn't like any of that. I thought all of that was trash.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, the attempt at building a little universe, that didn't work for me. But Daredevil as a show by itself, that was fantastic. All right, let I think, we could. All I'm saying is Loki. When I compare it to the vast amount of shows on television, if I only could watch like 20 shows, right? Like I was only allowed to watch 20 shows. Loki wouldn't be up there in there, right? Like at the moment, right? So
are we talking 20 shows in general? Or are we talking like 20 Marvel or DC shows?
No, 20 shows in general. I
would agree with that.
Yeah, I know. If it's Marvel or DC, it would make it definitely. But I was excited by what happened in the show. I do want to see this reveal of Lady Loki. I did like a lot. As I said, Owen Wilson. So what was your impressions of the show? What's your feeling of the show?
I thought it was well done for the first episode, especially because I thought the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier was kind of meh, and the first episode of WandaVision, it was very unnecessary to me. So when it came to the first episode, comparing it to those two, I think it was one of the best, 100%.
I say that one more time. I was just responding to these guys. It was better than WandaVision and
Falcon and Winter Soldier's first episode.
Absolutely agree. I think this was much, much better than those shows. I really do. I don't like those shows. I have to tell you. The more I thought about Falcon and Winter Soldier, the more I was like, I really didn't enjoy that show. I really forced myself to watch it.
You know what the problem with me for that is? Okay, so you know how usually TV series have a formula, right? They go through the whatever at the beginning, you get the expose, whatever, and then they have the big action at the end, moves on to the next episode. I find this one, it was sporadic. Sometimes you would get an action scene in the middle of the episode and then nothing at the end or nothing at the beginning or stuff like that. It just seemed, it didn't flow properly to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't flow properly to me.
Exactly, that's right. You get this weird kind of thing where they're trying to make them into characters and trying to make you care for them in the beginning with the stuff with the boat and the sister and then Bucky and the therapist. I found all of that so vapid. I had no interest in what Bucky was doing with his fucking therapist. It made no sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, why? And then they sit together in a room and they're like touching each other's genitals or whatever. I was like, what am I watching?
I know.
If this was a TV show about two fucking guys, one guy who could fly with wings and another guy who's a half robot who killed people in past, I wouldn't give a shit. Right? It was only that these guys are connected to the MCU that I gave it a chance. And the action, you know, because it wasn't a big budget thing, it wasn't that great. Like you can't compare the action to something like Winter Soldier, right?
Oh no, of
like
course
what
not.
and I'm not blaming it for that. It's a TV show, but don't
Yeah.
tell me like, you know, you're not going to have an interesting, compelling story. Zemo was again a nothing character. I'm sorry, people talk about Zemo as if he's. Anyway, I'm not here to bitch about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, because I thought Zemo was okay in the series.
I thought he was terrible, but like, you know, in the end.
So just remember, you
end,
said I was a Marvel fanboy. You're a DC. What is it? DC.
I'm not a DC fanboy. This is not me being a DC fanboy. This is
You
me
are.
saying, no, dude.
DC apologist. That's it.
I am not a DC apologist. I'm just saying those shows were not that good, and it's fine. Like, you know, not every show has to be like a brilliant kind of show. I guess if you're an MCU fan and the story of the MCU, it's fine. Like, it's that, but I just don't. You know, I want us to be realistic about what we're watching here, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are shows of characters that didn't gain that much traction in the MCU, and they're like, okay, let's put them on TV and see if they can gain traction there, right? This is Falcon and Winter Soldier. This is, you know, this is
Wanda
and Vision, right? These are not big characters. These are not the Iron Mans, the Spider-Mans. They would never make a show about Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to make a show about Thor because these are big name characters. They're too big for TV. So they're putting all of these secondary, you know, characters to get us to feel something about them. In fact, I'd say Loki is probably the biggest character out of all of these that they're doing, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
That's almost helped it.
Yeah, I would think so. I think he was the biggest one out of all of them. Wanda was getting there. You know, people starting to like her, but she still wasn't a huge character. And Falcon, you know, side character. So we'll see what happens when he gets his movie. We'll see how that does. But yeah, Loki is the biggest out of all of them, hands down.
Right. And that helps the show. It gives it some kind of it helps it in terms of what am I thinking? I think it just helps it that it's a character that most people like, and he's funny and he's engaging, and you know, you want, even though he died, it's kind of cool to see him back. So I think that helps it. I genuinely enjoyed the show, so that's why I'm a little bit surprised at the reception. I don't think this has the same buzz that I saw Falcon and Winter Soldier have, or that I saw WandaVision have, and that's what I kind of wanted to talk about on the stream. I think it's a much better show, but does it have that buzz? Does it have that?
I think it did. I think it did have a buzz because I know a lot of the people I was streaming with were excited to see it, you know. But I think Falcon and Winter Soldier did have the biggest buzz, but I think word of mouth is going to help Loki a lot more than Falcon and Winter Soldier did.
So you're going to say having Loki, you said having Loki in it will help much more the buzz eventually.
I agree.
Look,
yeah.
Here's the thing, right? It is the first episode, first of all, and I think this was a very personal episode. There wasn't much action in it. They didn't really reveal Lady Loki, so I can't really gauge how much. You know, because I just don't think I swear, like I saw it all over the YouTube, people talking about it for days and days. WandaVision was big, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier had that similar kind of buzz. I just feel like this one, maybe because of the genre it's in, it's less of an actiony kind of genre, or it's got, we've already seen the kind of gimmick thing with WandaVision being a sitcom, and maybe people got to see that and get to see the MCU doing something different. So this one being this kind of how would you put it? There's a I'm trying to think of the book. It's the I'd say it's a lot like it's its own specific genre, right? It's not an action. It doesn't seem like an action show. It seems more
character driven.
Character
oh
driven,
Lord,
right?
Here we go.
Oh, what the heck? What you don't be
Here
like.
we go.
Don't be like Mike.
No, because I seen you in the comments. I was watching what you were saying there, so I'm like, here we go.
Oh man, how are you guys? First
How
off,
you doing,
Doing good, man. It's been a minute. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I just came in the conversation, so I'll let you guys finish before I have any input on anything.
Oh yeah, no, we were just talking about the buzz that this show has at the moment, and there may be reasons why I'm not feeling that buzz, like it's that big yet.
For Loki?
All right, no problem, no problem, elitist. Sorry, I was just replying to elitist. But the buzz of the show at the moment is, I think, it happened on the day that the show came out. Maybe a day later, people were talking about it, but it doesn't seem like people were talking about it like as much as I saw people talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision. Now, I think there might be a couple of reasons. One, the genre of it. It's not a big action-y kind of thing like the other ones, or like Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then secondly, I think nothing big has happened yet, right, in the show. So it's just been basically the opening. It's just the opening, essentially of the show. It's intriguing, but nothing massive, no big reveals yet have happened on the show. So I think that might be the problem, but I honestly didn't get the buzz from the show. I think seen the rest of them.
I think maybe because it's the third one now, because I think WandaVision got more of a buzz than Falcon and Winter Soldier did, actually, to be honest with you. And I think WandaVision was able to keep that buzz right up until the end of the series, right? And I know we did some watch parties for Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff like that. And a lot of the episodes, a lot of people were mixed. A lot of people didn't like the racial tones that they had in that show. So I think that's why Falcon and Winter Soldier lost some of the buzz it did. So for Loki now, I think Loki has to knock it out of the park. Let's just say even in the next episode for that buzz to pick up.
Exactly. So yeah, it's kind of been harmed by the reception of the first couple of shows in a way.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it had a lot to do with the first two shows, right? Especially with Falcon and Winter Soldier, because a lot of people, like I said, were like, oh, racial this and Black Captain America this and Black Captain and Black this. And a lot of people got turned off for that. A lot of people did, so.
What's up, Kiwi?
What's up?
Hey, what do you guys think about
in New Zealand? Is there massive buzz about Loki in New Zealand? Is everyone walking around as Loki in New Zealand?
No.
Dressing up their ostriches?
There's massive buzz in New Zealand, but yeah, not for Loki. Not for Loki. It's all about Rose Byrne at the moment, actually.
Do you know what I think? Funnily enough, talking about that, I think one of the big things that's impacted it. I don't know about how things are in America, but like everything's opening up and it's the summer and everyone has obviously been in lockdown for a long while.
Yeah.
So I think
too.
Almost like people are more outside at the moment, right? So I think that as well is kind of like, I know I agree. I've been going out a lot more.
In my opinion, I think it's more to do with cancel culture, dude. I honestly, I think it's more to do with cancel culture, that whole They Are Us film. Have you guys heard about that whole thing? You probably have, man.
Heard about which thing?
The They Are Us, the Rose Byrne movie about the mosque?
No.
Oh right, no, is that like is that good? Have you seen it?
Someone is attempting to make a film about it, and the New Zealand public aren't happy about it because they want to spotlight our Prime Minister, who is white, and people are calling it a white savior movie.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day.
Listen, I saw a tweet, Nerd Man, and Enzo. I commented on Tyler was there, where somebody was like, "If the TVA could see apocalyptic events, why didn't they stop slavery?" I was like, "Come on, man! Like these,
Really?
like, are you serious now? Like these people are just going and trying to find any little bit thing." I don't even want to call them cancel culture people. I want to call them reimaginers. That's what I want to call them. They're reimaginers. They're taking a simple thing and they're reimagining it into a very skeptical and bizarre theories they put out there.
Mm-hmm.
so who stopped slavery? I didn't get the first bit. Who?
Okay. So in Loki, right? The TVA is supposed to stop apocalyptic events, right? Now, and they things are supposed to happen. The person was saying, well, if they saw apocalyptic events, why didn't they stop slavery?
Because they're racists, obviously. I mean, it's clear. You didn't see any black people working there. No, all the black people are just the bodyguards. That's so ridiculous. That's what I'm saying about the show. I found myself, even though I'm like, it's a C+ show. I like it, but it's not like the greatest TV show, especially in this time where there's been such an influx of great TV shows. I'm not like, oh, this Loki is amazing, but it's a good show, and it's definitely the best Marvel show. But I keep seeing people talking about the timeline and how it's messing up the MCU and putting all of these things into it, and I'm like, I'm having to defend the show because I'm like, dude, it's only been one episode. Right?
That's what I said on. That's what me and Mike said on the other show. Like first, I was saying on the show is that Marvel, if you notice, and Enzo, I think you could agree with this, and Kiwi, if you notice, there's no like, they're trying to do a triangle, and what the triangle is multiverse, alternate realities, and time. If you've noticed, outside of Falcon and Winter Soldier, the movies have to deal with multiverse, time. That seems like the big part of this phase, and I don't understand how people are like questioning what their motives is if this is what their plan is. Like look at Multiverse of Madness, look at No Way Home. These movies have to deal with the multiverse and alternate reality. So how can you be oblivious to these plot lines when they're literally putting them out there in the public? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I didn't see the massive contradictions that the show has towards the, like the stuff that was established in Endgame, the stuff that was established in Infinity War, merely because that stuff didn't make sense in the first place. So it's kind of hard to even talk about contradicting it. All you could do is kind of make it better. And I think actually they did kind of almost make it better when the TVA was describing how the main timeline worked, right? Like in that little cartoon that they had in the beginning, kind of went some way to improving upon what the time jumping or time traveling theories were in Endgame. And to me, what it's like is like, people were saying that the TVA contradicted the ancient one, right? But the TVA are higher than the ancient one. They have more knowledge than the ancient one does, in my opinion. That's how I see it. I see her more as a priest, and the TVA are like God, right? Like, so
you're right.
She's interpreting the scriptures, right? But they wrote the scriptures. So, in the end, anything that she says that contradicts them, I believe that might just come from a lack of knowledge, whereas they have all the knowledge.
I mean,
I can agree with that.
I said that. I agree with that. I said that the TVA. If you think about it, in the MCU, there's no Celestials, right? They're all gone. It seems like time is the biggest like influence. Even remember, even in Doctor Strange, she's like, the Ancient One's like, "Oh, I've already seen my death," and she couldn't avoid it no matter
I
what.
agree with Becky on that.
So,
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't see my death. Exactly, right. So she's got limited knowledge, right?
right. So, like, the TVA seems to be all important, and the theory I have is that I think Owen Wilson's character had asked Loki for help, and he decided that Loki variant decided, you know what, I'm gonna change my history. Because like, why? How would you know that Loki's the? You would have to have already asked for help in order to know that it's Loki, right?
Yeah.
That's the only theory I could come up with.
So
Do you think,
that makes a good
Owen
point.
Wilson? Do you think Owen Wilson could be a villain? I'm sorry, Enzo, go on.
Yeah, no problem. To answer that, no, I don't think he's a villain. But that's a good point because he showed Loki his history and stuff like that. Maybe he tried it already, right, with a previous Loki, and it didn't work. So now he tried a different method, show Loki what happens to him, how his mother died, and that's why this Loki decided to help him. Especially if they're doing like kind of time travel stuff and a multiverse stuff.
Yeah,
very possible.
Do you know why
That
I said
sounds
he
quite
might be a
possible.
villain? It's only one line because he's so pat. He's such a good guy, right? The only reason I say he might be a villain is because he said he's a big fan of Loki.
That's true.
And I was
That's
curious
true.
about that line. Why would you be a big fan of Loki? So I was kind of like, are they kind of hinting at a heel swerve, or
I think it
by the
worked
end
for
of
them
it?
in
And
the past.
especially because they did that already, right? With WandaVision.
But why wouldn't you
how
go and say
Marvel
that to
likes
someone
the
who you're trying to
formulas.
convince them?
Sorry, say that again.
What else are you going to go say to someone if you're trying to convince them? Are you going to go and say, "I'm not a big fan of you. I don't want to work with you"?
No, you would absolutely say you're a fan of them. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's stupid. But like, have you guys just seen that video that Warp Zone posted up like yesterday? I think it was.
No,
Hold on.
I
Hold on.
wanted to read a couple of comments, but like,
Yeah. Go ahead.
It was to do with
No,
Matthew
go on,
Lawrence's comment.
But wait, hold on. I just need to say something real quick. Tyler.
Yeah.
You seem very calm tonight. What the hell?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
he's taking some Xanax. He's
You
taking some
seem
Xanax.
calm tonight, man.
yeah, no. Actually, I have an assignment due tonight, so I'm sort of stressed out a bit. But
Okay.
Well, good luck on it, man.
All right.
Good luck.
So you've got an assignment. So you decided to get up and talk some Loki. Good student. I like it. So Matthew.
Hey, if I fail, I fail. If I don't, I don't.
You'll pass. Don't worry about it, Vic.
Yeah, you'll do.
You're a clever bloke.
Thanks, man.
So, and I believe that. I really do. I'm tired of Loki. Marvel, Disney just can't help themselves anymore. No one's death matters. The timeline continuity don't matter.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true either.
I don't think the second part of that is true. I think the first part about that is true. That's why I went and said, have you guys seen the Warp Zone video that they went posted last night? Because it was exactly about what Matthew has just gone and said. So Warp Zone would have made a video basically where they try to convince Loki, and they're like, we're going to go and take away all those years of character development we've done on you, and we're going to put you straight back where you were. So we can kill you off. So you're definitely dead, but we can bring you back and make more money off you. Yeah, it was so funny.
Yeah.
Seriously, guys, check out Warp Zone. They're so funny.
It's an interesting point, but I do think that they justified bringing Loki back in that first
why
episode.
we're bringing this guy back?
For what they did.
But okay, Tyler, my thing is
they justified it.
But my thing is, both universes do it. DC does it. Marvel does it. What's the if you really
you're losing stakes though.
No, but Tyler, if that's the case, then Superman should be dead for good. Then he should not have come back.
Yeah, and that's why I agree with her. I reckon he should have just kept dead, but he should have died in a more heroic way.
But yeah, people still. No. I'm talking about as a comic, going through comics, going through everything. They still keep Superman because he's iconic, because they like it. If they really want him, he should stay dead. That's my point. Like, it's not like both universes do it. So when Matthew Lawrence says it's $1, then clearly the dollars for Superman are ching ching, because you would have kept him dead.
They're nowhere near as ching as Disney. Let's put it that way.
I know that, but that's their iconic staple Boy Scout of if you need a movie, you make a Superman movie.
The issue with Warner Brothers, dude, compared to Marvel, is that Warner Brothers doesn't actually know what the hell they're doing with their way they've lined up their film.
I'm not comparing Marvel.
I am.
No, that's not the point. The point is that don't say that Marvel wants to use them for business too, for ching 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 in Matthew Lawrence comment, because DC does the same thing too, and I say the same thing. If death doesn't matter, then they should do it for the same company, the same a different comic company too. Like both of them are criminals about that. I'm not gonna deny that.
Okay, here's the difference though, dude. Like comics and movies translate completely differently. You can kill someone off.
No, they don't. No, they don't. If that's the case,
let Tyler finish. Let Tyler finish. Good.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is they translate to screen in a very different way. No, you can have a book. You can have a comic book series, dude, where you kill off a character and you bring them back. That is normal for comic books. But in movies, our brain has been trained before Disney fucked everything up.
That's a problem.
Our brain has been trained to low stakes.
No, that's a problem.
So when Iron Man died, when he clicked his fingers, everyone was crying because they're like, "Oh my god, we're never going to see Robert Downey Jr. again."
Okay,
like that is a stake. That is a stake.
No, because
now I saw dude. When I saw Loki die, I'm like, "Oh my god, there's the end of Tom Hiddleston."
I agree.
No, I don't agree.
And it was this circular thing of him coming back and finally sacrificing himself for his brother and for his people. It does make
all they've done is they've gone and reversed back 10 years.
We criticize it when they did it in the Wonder Woman series with and I criticized it as well when they did it with Steve Trevor. It's like, dude, what's the point? He died.
Warren is trying to. It sounds like to me like Warren's actually trying to protect Marvel.
No,
let me ask you a question. Before you continue on with your argument, Warren, you're going next. Before you continue on, I just want to ask Matthew, what precisely do you think they fucked up in the timeline? Because I'm and continuity in this show. Warren, go.
Okay, I'm not protecting Marvel and I'm not protecting DC, but we have comic books being applied to live action screen. Why is it so like when I think of it, I'm looking at a live action comic book on screen that's being put it off of a comic book onto a screen. So I still think of it as a comic book. So I don't let the rules just change because it's on the screen. It's not a singular movie. It's not like a saga, like let's say, or not a saga, like a 3-part series like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, where you know it's gonna end in 3 series or 6 or whatever. It's a comic book. Comic books always have loopholes. They always have content. Things that can change, and it's being applied to the screen. That's why you have multiverses. That's why you have these things. They can do that because think about the comic book industry as it is. They are able to continue for so long. Remember, this started from the 1950s, and we're now in 2021 because there's so many stories that you can diverge from. That's what I'm saying.
Here's what I hear you saying, Warren.
Your characters grow up. That is what
I hear you saying, Warren. Here's what I hear you saying.
Oh, this is not Mephisto. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
I don't know. I have a strange feeling that there's a little bit more to his character, especially when he said he's a fan of Loki. It made me curious. I still think, on balance, he's probably just a hero. He's probably what he's presented to be so far. But I do think there's a chance that he might be a villain or have a villainous aspect to him. Especially because it's Owen Wilson, and he's good at that kind of stuff. But anyway, like going back to the point of what you were saying, Warren, it seems to me you're justifying the mistakes it's made that comic books have made for so long, things that people have complained about in the comic books,
Yeah,
of how they
exactly. But
the
they
convoluted timelines, the
right
convoluted things where every 3 years they have to, or 4
exactly.
years they have to
But
reboot
people are
everything
letting
because the timeline is so messed up, and they bring
right.
characters back and there's no stakes. That is not a good thing in comics, and it's not
I'm
something
not
that
saying it.
should
I'm
be
not saying it
carried
is.
over
I'm
into
not saying
the
it.
TV universe. And then
I'm
the
Exactly.
second thing is,
They have a chance to fix their mistakes from the comic.
it's basically Marvel cashing in. That's all it is.
I don't think
He's
it's
a popular
cashing in because
character.
It's the rat
that's how you.
catching in. It's the rat catching
It's cashing
How
in.
is
in.
it
So
From the
cashing?
old-
That's how
I'm
they
gonna
continue
let you
the
guys.
story.
I'm gonna let you guys go at it for a moment, but I know Enzo wanted to say something, so go at it, and then we'll get to
Yeah.
Enzo.
I was gonna say I agree with Nerdman and Tyler over here, because if you're gonna kill people,
I'm sorry.
hold on, let me finish. If you're gonna kill these characters and then bring them back, then
And
it
I'm applying it
basically
to both universes, by the way. Just let me clarify.
yeah, I'm applying it to both too. But if you kill these characters off and bring them back, then you take away what they sacrificed they died for. You know what I mean? And it's
Can I
just
ask you
like
a question?
yeah.
Why is so much people bringing up so much hooply law now, but they don't bring up the hooply law in the comic world when that's making money too? That doesn't make sense to me. It's like you're picking your poison now. So because it's on the screen, that's why you want to talk up. That's so stupid. I'm
No,
sorry.
it has nothing to do with screen or comics.
Dude, let's be fair here. Most people have stopped reading comics because of this bullshit.
That's not true.
That's the truth. People don't read Marvel comics like that anymore.
I
People still read Marvel.
I'd just like to talk
That's
about stakes for a
or
second,
DC.
guys.
We're
They
not
show
talking
They read,
about
the
they read the
Infinity
old.
Stones.
Tyler, we're not
Most
talking about
people
sex.
who read comics, go back to the old
Old
stuff
ones, yeah.
and
not
buy
true.
the graphic
That's not
novels
true.
and the important storylines.
You know the
it's
comic
true.
division
Modern
for
comics-
Marvel.
That is
Yeah.
not true, guys.
You know,
Come on,
you know, comics for DC and Marvel, they're pretty much going bankrupt, right? You know that, right?
Yeah, well, Marvel's just been bought, haven't they, by another company?
I think so. Yeah, no, it was DC that was bought. Sorry, it was
Disney
DC
bought
that was bought.
Marvel.
Yeah, no, it was DC that bought. DC Comic Division was bought by someone, I can't remember who it is. But these comic book
No,
companies,
sorry,
are
that was
going-
right. They changed publishers.
Yeah.
They're
public
still
good.
making Mike is. I'm outside of Mike, but all these comics are still making money. The digital downloads still happen. I'm sorry, but I can't.
digital downloads of old comics, not new.
Not
new
old.
stuff.
No, they do. What's old to you? Let me get your definition of old. Are we talking 1999? Are we talking 1970? What's old?
I
Like
think
90s,
stuff like
2000s.
Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns,
Because-
those kind of comics. Those
because-
graphic novels basically sell more. Like when they have a graphic novel of a complete story, sell more than the weekly comics.
Okay,
And
my
those are
argument.
usually old, usually old.
My
collected
argument with
trade.
all three of you is not that I'm not saying it's not. You guys are saying it's laziness, but if it's laziness, then why haven't people speaked up and being so adamant when it happened in the comics? That's my problem. Like you can't cry. Wait, Tyler. Tyler, let me finish. You can't cry wolf when you've been exposed to something before, because this happens in other things where people come back. Gandalf came back in freaking The Lord of the Rings. He should have stayed dead, but he's Gandalf the White. Yet we bring back somebody like Loki. Oh my God, they're messing. It's laziness. Like, so Tolkien was lazy. That's my point. Like you can't pick your poison.
How quick did they bring back
You
Loki?
can't compare.
How quick did they bring back Loki? That's
Gandalf. You're
different.
completely missing the point.
Yeah, you can't. Gandalf is totally different situation.
No, but my point is, it's a hero. He's important, but yet they brought him back, but they just call him Gandalf the White.
But
It's still
Dude,
Gandalf.
let's separate these two things, okay? First of all, I don't remember Lord of the Rings that well, but I don't remember being that impressed by him being brought back either, to be fair. But fine, I maybe Lord of the Rings people can kind of correct me on that, but I don't. It was something that irked me about Lord of the Rings as well, if I remember correctly. But let's say people are comparing this to Superman being brought back, and the death of Superman. That was a mistake. Like, all in all, I know that story was good and it's a classic story now, but what it did to the comic book industry is completely, it was one of the things that led to its downfall, if anything. And even in that story, they took a long time to bring him back anyway. It took like, they went through it for months and months and months.
Yeah.
What they started doing more recently in comic books, which is the mistake, and now they're doing in films, is they're bringing these characters back almost straight away. He dies in Infinity War. It's a sad death. Next thing we know, in Endgame, he fucking escaped. That, to me, I don't mind the TV show and what the TV show's done. I think what the mistake that happened was in Endgame. But since they did that in Endgame, I don't mind what they're doing in the TV show, and that's why I'm asking what precisely in the TV show has gone wrong in terms of the timeline, because I think that's the only critique you can give. Surely, as soon as they brought him back in Endgame, that was Endgame's fault. So now the TV show is carrying on that storyline. I don't blame the TV show for that.
Well, I mean, it's been established. I get what you mean, but the thing is we've been established since WandaVision that there's a I'm sorry, let's not even say WandaVision. Since Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio mentioned multiverse. The moment I heard that, I'm like, okay. Then we've been exposed to different realms through the quantum realm and through Dormammu's realm through the MCU, right? So we know that there's different realms.
Quantum realm isn't a different realm, dude.
This is a different realm. What are you talking about?
Not a different realm. It's the Earth. It's the quantum mechanics is part of the fucking world. It's not a different realm.
No, there's a reason why.
It's the world on a microscopic level. That's all it is.
Even Strange has mentioned that it's a different realm. Man. Look it up. I'm not even trying to put you on the spot. Quantum realm is quite different. It's its own thing. Quantum mechanics that's why.
It is its own thing because time moves differently in the
time moves. Same
time
thing for
moves differently in the quantum realm on Earth. That's the whole point of quantum mechanics.
It's not. No, the quantum realm. The quantum realm has nothing to do with the Earth, though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're thinking there's a reason why Janet Van Dyne was like 80 in that. Like there's a reason why the Dormammu's realm doesn't follow because time is not law in that realm. There's different. But that's not the point. The point I was getting at is that the multiverse was something that's been established. That's their whole sticking point. These next few movies. Like the whole multiverse from Wanda, from even Mysterio mentioning it, through Loki. I'm sure they're gonna mention it somehow in No Way Home because we gotta see that and Multiverse of Madness. Why would you name your theory? Why would you name your movie Multiverse of Madness?
The realm. You're saying the realm is the quantum realm, and then what else?
There's Dormammu's realm doesn't follow time. In Doctor Strange. Realm. Yeah, that's a different.
There's a magic realm or something. This is like mirror realm or something.
I forgot. That's a different realm though.
Okay, then what else?
There's the nightmare realm that even Owen Wilson's character, because he said, remember in the show, he's like
the nightmare realm.
Yeah, because he said that. He says I wish we could get rid of that part because they can't figure it out. Like there's different realms that people don't.
So we've got the quantum realm, which I don't think counts as a different realm. If you understand quantum mechanics, which I don't understand, none of us understand, but here probably, unless you're like a physicist. But from my brief understanding of it,
I understand the quantum realm. I watched The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon went discussed because they actually had a proper physicist write up his boards.
Please stop this guy right now. Please stop it. Anyway, go ahead, man.
The point I'm trying to make is that what the quantum realm is related to is the same thing as on our world, like our Earth. They're just talking about quantum mechanics, things that are happen on a kind of microscopic level, essentially. And how the rules of things that happen on the microscopic level don't act in the same way as how we appear in terms of like a deterministic world, like a causal world. So, A causes B causes C. That doesn't happen on a microscopic level. And that's the whole kind of contradiction of quantum mechanics and why we're trying to think of a grand unified theory. We can't figure out why things act on a microscopic level in a different way as how they act in the world that appears before us, the world that makes sense to us, which is the microscopic world, right? Oh, sorry, macroscopic world. So I don't see that as a different realm as opposed to them just, using quantum theory to justify being able to do stupid things like time travel and whatever, which, doesn't really make sense. But anyway, like that's essentially what they're talking about in Ant-Man and all of those things when they talk about the quantum realm. It's not something that is completely different from our world. It's just...
It's completely different. It's completely different because that's the reason why. That's the reason why.
Okay,
that's the reason why. Remember, outside of when Cap went back and when Janet was in there, Enzo knows. As much as I despise Ant-Man, by the way, I will say it and profoundly, I did not like Ant-Man 2 as a movie. I thought that's a Disney Plus show series. And there's you can jot that down or whatever. Put it.
Yeah, Ant-Man 2 was trash.
It was a Disney Plus. It was a Disney Plus show.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It
wasn't good. But in regards to explaining the quantum realm, it's been established within the Marvel universe. I don't know if you read Marvel enough, and that's not me trying to be funny, that the quantum realm is its own universe. Even Doctor Strange spoke to Hank Pym because he doesn't understand.
What do you mean by its own universe? I don't get what you mean by it's particle. It's basically, you're talking about particle physics. That's what they're talking about. It's the exploration of things that we can't visually see, but they are energies that exist within the world. So
but it exists out of time.
There's four forces in the world: gravity, right? There's weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force, and electromagnetism. The latter three that I just discussed are things that we can't see. So that's what we study in quantum physics.
I'm talking in regards to...
Because we can't see them. And the way they operate, so particles on a microscopic level do not operate in the same temporal way that we see in the actual world. So that's why they say in the Marvel universe, oh, we can time travel. Because if you're that small and you can act in the way that particles act, right? Particles sometimes go back in time, right? They don't necessarily move forward or in a causal way that we see. Like if I drop this, right, it's going to go to the ground, right? That's not how particles work. That's the whole point. Particles, you can do that and it goes up in the air or it moves backwards through time. That's the whole point. And that's why you can time travel through the quantum universe, but it's not a different realm. I'm sorry, this is stupid because we're just talking science-y kind of shit that I don't really know that well myself. But I'm just saying that I think you're misunderstanding what it means by a different realm.
No, I'm not. You're
making it like it's some mystical thing they're talking about. It's not.
No, I didn't say. I didn't say it was mystical. I never said it was mystical.
But it is mystical because I'm looking at it right here. The quantum realm is a dimension in the multiverse only accessible through a magical energy, mystical transportation using a sling ring by tremendous subatomic shrinking caused by the Pym particles or the
science.
Quantum bridge. In the quantum realm, space and time are believed to be irrelevant.
That's science. That's not magic.
Yes, I know, but mystical transportation.
That's still science. It's science. Like the thing about the quantum realm is that, and this is something going back from Marvel days. This is not like something I'm just using and applying to MCU. Anytime I'm speaking is because this stuff exists. The quantum realm has existed even before these stupid Ant-Man movies. Like, I'm not saying Ant-Man was a bad movie. Right. So it's its own separate realm. What I was getting at was not focusing on just the quantum realm. I'm saying the whole purpose of everything that's happening and the problem that I think the MCU has had right now is that normally we get a big movie. First off, the pandemic ruined a lot of things for how the production for a lot of these companies, whether it's DC or Marvel. We can both agree on that. Hallelujah. Amen. Praise the Lord, right? Glory be to God. Anyway, my point is that we don't even know who the big bad is, right, of this phase. We don't know what the real plan is. All we know is that the multiverse is the thing. They have to connect them in a certain way. I don't know if you saw Ant-Man 2, but in Ant-Man 2, if you go through it slowly towards the end, there is a small city that is Kang the Conqueror, which I don't know if you saw in the first episode, but the face that the judge that was speaking to Loki, she is related. She's a lover of Kang, and that was Kang's face. And I don't know if you looked at Jonathan Majors' face, but that was exactly Jonathan Majors who's playing Kang. Believe it or not.
Interesting.
Okay,
all right, so it's a realm that Marvel, because at first it started off from what I saw in Ant-Man as just that, you know, basically Hank Pym had figured out how to reduce himself to a subatomic level, right? So that the way he can act within that world is the same as if he were like acting like a particle, like acting like things that are of that size, which are of a microscopic size.
All right, Matthew, so you're a joker.
So I didn't get that it was some mystical realm that Marvel was trying to say is beyond what we're talking about, like when we talk about quantum mechanics, you know, on our Earth, on in this world, like when we're just talking about the basic science of it. So okay, that's interesting, but like I don't get the point. How does that justify anything in this show? Like, so they've got different realms and what?
Okay,
does that make it more convoluted or it makes it more streamlined? I don't get it.
I think the whole purpose of these shows going into, and like I still don't agree with all three of you in regards to bringing back characters. This is stuff that's happened in other genres and other movies, but yet there's little complaints, and that's how I personally feel. But when it comes to what they're doing, they're Ancient One, Miss Minutes. Ancient One explained exactly what Miss Minutes explained, where it was like, oh, you when she was talking to Hulk, she definitely did the exact same thing. She explained what happens, and we got a basically a Miss Minutes version of Ancient One, so she knows how time operates as well. The whole point of the multiverse is to connect more characters and to bring also. I don't know if you saw
to bring different versions of these characters, which is a cool thing. Like if you have Tom Cruise as Iron Man, that would be kind of cool. I thought that's basically the whole idea. I'm just giving an example. I'm giving an example.
Supposedly that we're actually going to do that.
Doctor Doom is. Go ahead. Man, sorry.
No, go on. You were going to say the big bad. You were going to answer.
Matthew. I don't think the big bag is Doctor Doom. The thing is, Doctor Doom is not an Avengers level threat. Like, he can be handled by the Fantastic Four. He's been handled by there was a comic where Luke Cage literally walked to Latveria and beat the shit out of him. So don't tell me
he could be like a phase one, Loki.
Yes,
villain.
He can be a phase villain, but he's not a big bad villain. What I was So what I was thinking was, and Enzo can kind of agree because Tyler's not a Marvel fan. I think for the most part. No offense, Tyler.
I am a Marvel fan.
You don't know the history as much as I don't think you know the history as much as I do. In that sense,
I know bits of history.
They announced Kang, right? But they didn't announce. So remember when they did Avengers? We can all agree when we saw Avengers, the first one, that we had no idea that Thanos was going to be at the end credits. We can all agree with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, no, Dr. Doom. Oh, come on, dude. Come on. I'm about to fall out of my chair right now with that statement you just put on the screen. No way. No way. No, that was the comics, and even and the thing is,
dude, you just been told me I don't know anything about the MCU, so I'd watch it.
I'm talking about
some dangerous things with a green screen.
That's not how you spell my name. First off, thank you. Second of all, that's
your name.
No, Warren.
Okay, cool.
What I was getting at was
I spelled it correctly. Warren.
You changed your name, didn't you, so that the cops couldn't find you for all those missing Asians.
So Enzo.
Let me just go and screenshot an Asian woman into it. Give me a second.
Enzo, Nerdman, Tyler. No, I'm not insane. You're lunatic.
I think Doctor Doom would be a different kind of villain from Thanos, and it would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
He would be a good villain, but he's not a big bad. That's what I'm saying. That's what, like, for instance, they announced Kang in the Quantum Realm, and then I thought about it the other day. I was like, Marvel's bigger than this. You don't announce a villain that's so high up there. That means they have someone bigger planned. So I thought about
I think it's all bullshit, to be honest. I think they should just drop it and just, since they've bought the X-Men, just do an X-Men series.
No, they're gonna do that, but they're focusing
why continue this story. This story's done.
No, because people no, it's not dumb. The thing is, people
not dumb. I said it's done. It's
not done.
It's not done.
It's not been cooked. You haven't got Captain America. You haven't got Captain America. And you haven't got fucking Iron Man. That's done.
Fine.
Those are the only heroes they set up that were compelling.
Yeah, but that's why.
It took years to do that.
Right, and that's
arguably not even that good in this universe. The only thing that makes him interesting is because we all like Spider-Man and we all know Spider-Man. As far as them, I just focus on doing Spider-Man and X-Men movies.
They have to do fantastic.
And give it enough time and reboot and recast Iron Man and start a new story with Iron Man and Captain America.
There's no ifs, ands, and buts. The Fantastic Four.
Why?
Because they're too important.
Okay, but do Fantastic Four separate from this convoluted time travel story.
You can't.
Time travel story didn't even make sense in Endgame and Infinity War, and you want to continue it and expand it even further to the point where I don't know that it will. I think it's going to take everything now.
You know what's funny though? Like, we're so stuck on the Back to the Future time traveling stuff that everybody says, "Oh, the time traveling stuff in Endgame didn't make sense." Now, as much as I didn't like it, we can't say it didn't make sense because no one has ever time traveled to ever know what it's like to time travel.
True.
That's bullshit, man. It set up rules. What? It set up rules in the movie that it blatantly contradicted. It's not about time travel that is the problem with the film. The problem with the film, and this goes beyond the time travel elements, is that it sets up a logic within the film where you're like, okay, fine. It's not the same logic as our Earth. It's not the same logic as our world, but it's the logic of this movie, right? And the logic in that movie that it sets up itself, it constantly contradicts itself within the movie. So you get a point where it's like, oh, you can't take the stones out of this universe.
Let me answer, Matthew.
But Thanos can destroy all the stones, and it has and the Earth continues on as normal, and nothing seems to happen.
Let me answer, Matthew.
Or you can, only a special metal can create this super weapon that can hold the stones, right? And you need the heart of a dying star to be able to create it. Oh, well, no, Iron Man can create that with nanotechnology and then just snap. Even though the whole film does not hold together as a consistent piece of film, logically, it doesn't. You know in your heart it doesn't.
Okay, so
and that's why I'm saying it's fine. They got away with it there, but the more they try and continue from that storyline, which was already a big contradiction within itself, the more they're going to hurt their narrative. They should just start again with
they're not hurting the narrative because they're building up on Kang, who is a time villain. That's the Avengers time villain.
That's not. You look like Kang doesn't mean he's a good villain. All right. Just because
Kang
you
is
look
whoa.
like
First of all, I don't know if you know about Kang, but Kang is just as bad. I would say Kang is
he
worse
looks
than
like
Dr.
you, man.
Kang is okay.
Does he look like you though? Just tell the truth. Does he look like you?
No. Kang is not. First of all,
Because
Matthew.
You look like you exist on the quantum realm right now. When I look at
Matthew, let me answer you that it was T'Challa who was the Black Panther who had the Infinity Gauntlet that bust his ass, and let me also say that was an alternate reality. Oh, gee, what are we talking about now? Multiverse is an alternate reality. Oh my, amazing how that happens, right? Anyway, with that being said, their their focus is on time, right? You have to build in order to, first of all, I don't know if you heard Nerd Man about the Craven thing. That's how they're able to bring this Craven to the world because you have a multiverse. You can displace these people. It's happened in the
telling me about this multiverse, and it just sounds
because it happened because it happened in Flash when I read Flash because I'm a big Flash fan. When they misplaced when they had King Cold.
About the multiverse.
Okay, so don't tell me about multiverses not happening in different.
Let me ask you something about the multiverse. Let me ask you just one quick question about the multiverse. Once they've done Spider-Man Far From Home, right, and they've done the alternate world Spider-Mans, right? So he gets to interact with Tom Holland gets to interact with all the different Spider-Men, right? And then they do the Multiverse of Madness, and then they might do alternate takes on these heroes, like maybe for instance, say Tom Cruise does Iron Man. I'm sure that's not going to happen, but like something like that, or John Hamm or something like that does Iron Man, right? So they do that. Where do they go after that? What do they? What more can you do? What other gimmick can you do in the multiverse? Other than different versions, or these guys get to meet each other who are the same.
Well, you know what the beauty about comics? The story never ends. There's something that people can come up with.
So then it gets boring.
I don't think you can do that in film. Yeah, it gets boring.
Okay. Oh, here's my perfect example. Right, and this was a series that was running for Spider-Man, and I don't know if you guys read it. It was the Red Goblin. It was a really good series. Basically, it was Carnage somehow got his suit, and there was a big thing, and he broke out Norman Osborn, and exactly, Andre. So thank you. I don't think he's an Avengers level threat because he's never fought the Avengers that much compared to Kang. But I would say he's okay. He's mostly a Fantastic Four villain. But
continue with what you were saying. Because you keep getting distracted by the comments. Sorry.
Because I'm not gonna let somebody say something without responding. Jesus, I just lost my train of thought. Jesus Christ. So
who are going to be the Avengers on the new Avengers team when they fight this big threat? Who are the Avengers going to be?
I don't think they're building up an Avengers. That's the thing. They're not building up an Avengers. If we saw from the Falcon and Winter Soldier, we saw they're building up a Thunderbolts or a darker team, like a Dark Avengers. This isn't going to be your typical Captain America, your typical same sort of vision. These are different people. I had a thought, but then I lost it. God damn it!
But there is going to be. Yeah, I was going to say there is going to be an Avengers. They're just not doing it in this phase, but in the next phase 5, they're going to have some sort of Avengers team up. Yeah, it's been. They already said it. Kevin Feige already said it.
I meant Matthew. Doctor Doom is a good villain, but he's not. He's not a universal threat unless he does stuff. He's been beaten by fucking Squirrel Girl. Like, come on.
He's not a universal threat unless he does stuff. What kind of argument is this?
What I mean is
he's not a universal threat unless he is a universal threat.
No, what I mean is if you were to go through I think he is. If you were to go through comics right now, you could find more stories about Kang doing stuff to the Avengers than you would find about Doctor Doom doing stuff, or Kang doing more stuff throughout Marvel that's more that provides more consequence than Doctor Doom. That is my point. There's people that are far like Mephisto is far above the even Doom has his limits. If
they do the Secret Wars, then they can Doom in a light like that, where he does in the comic takes the Beyonder's powers, right?
Exactly.
But until they do that, he's like Loki, basically. Like, they don't really need to have an Avengers beat Doctor Doom. I agree with that 100%.
That's my point. But,
I agree with your point.
But what I was saying about time in the sense of the show is that you need to incorporate Kang. They're like, so far what we've experienced in the MCU is we experienced a little bit of magic, which the multiverse of madness, and we got a little bit of more magic with Darkhold. Thank God they brought that back. And they're doing multiverse, and they're doing time. Prior to that, who's Kang?
It's Kang. Why is he so good? I don't know. Kang the Conqueror. You're so excited about him. Like, it's like, who is he?
Because he literally can beat the Avengers by himself.
Why? And isn't he an Ant-Man villain?
They're using him as an Ant-Man villain because of the quantum realm and time.
That doesn't sound to me like an Avengers level villain if Ant-Man's facing him.
Well, you need to read up on Kang. I don't know what else to tell you. but
they're clearly not using him like they're using him in the comics because he's facing Ant-Man.
Because
it's Quantumania. Sounds like freaking WrestleMania or some shit. What is he gonna do against like the Avengers?
I mean, a title. I could say the same for Wonder Woman 1984. That sounds like a WrestleMania title for so like I don't know what you're getting at right there. You know, so
he's trying to hit me where it hurts.
You want to take shots at him?
You know he had no comeback for that one, right?
So, my thing is, Nerdman, and I think you all can agree with this. They're trying to connect time. They're trying to use different villains. I think personally, as an MCU fan, I thought using Thanos now was a big mistake, personally. But they wanted to because there was a shock value. But they built it up over 8 years, right? Okay. Okay, Matthew. I guarantee I can literally next time you bring me on here find more things Kang has done to the Marvel universe than Doctor Doom, and you would never
Everyone knows Doctor Doom, dude.
Yeah, everyone knows Doctor Doom. You want to know why everybody? Okay, you want to know why everybody knows?
Is King
you know why? Man, you want to know why everybody knows Doctor Doom? It's because of video games too. It's because of video games too. He's in Marvel versus Capcom. He's in Marvel versus.
Oh, really?
I mean, we've seen
fighting game of all time.
We've seen him in popular fighting games, but to tell me, I'm not saying Doom is not a good villain. Enzo agrees with me. What I said is that he's a Loki level threat villain. Like, Doom knows all this stuff, but that doesn't mean that if Doctor Strange would, he can make.
Would you rather see Kang the Conqueror than a new Doctor Doom as the next villain in the Avengers series?
Honestly, I would like to see Doctor Doom done properly, but again, I do think that when they do other Avenger movies, I think the big bad is going to be Galactus.
Oh Lord, let me fall out. Can someone shoot me, please, right now? Please, someone get a gun. Get a 42 and roll it and shoot it right in my neck so I die quick. Please.
They're doing the Galactus.
No, you don't have a neck. You don't have a neck.
No. Shut up, Kiwi.
Why
you're not even 21. Your opinion doesn't even count. Sorry.
What's that jungle that King Kong comes from? The jungle.
Skull Island?
Is that Skull Island? Is that where you fight? Is that where Kang is from? Is he like the little brother?
Kang doesn't need to. First of all, Matthew, Kang never needed to wield. He's at the end of time. He had the the Council of Kang. There's a reason why he's the Avengers.
He's a Teenage Mutant Hero Turtle villain, isn't he? He's like the.
No, he's not. Shut up, you troll. Shut up, you troll.
The little brain in the robot.
Matthew, you think I'm disrespecting Doctor Doom? I'm telling you that he's not on the level of Kang. Like you realize that Kang worked with Doctor Doom because he realized that he's far ahead of time and he's seen everything Doom has done.
And you know what, Warren? I'll give you what you're saying. I don't really know much about Kang, but my thing is this. When you think of Marvel, right, and their studios, do you think that they're going to make Kang like that? No.
Yes.
They're gonna no, they
Buy
won't.
me a car.
They would sooner try to big up Doctor Doom because he's more known than they would Kang.
I agree with you. They need to do Doctor Doom right, but he's not a big bad for 8 years to come where everybody has to team up against him. I just don't see it.
That's gonna be Galactus. Kang's not gonna be that character either.
How is Galactus?
I bet you Doctor Doom kills fucking Kang.
Okay, first
Kang's
of all,
not gonna be that character either.
Okay, first of all, I want to know how Galactus.
Introduce their big villain in Quantumania.
I want to know how Galactus is compelling because all he literally does is go to planets because he needs to feed on them. He's not going to them because he wants to destroy them or because he wants to conquer them. It's because it's a resource. Like Galactus,
Galactus is an important
character. Like he's not.
But in the comics, neither was Thanos, right? Because Thanos wanted
That's not true. That's not true.
Hold on.
That is not true.
Thanos wanted to fucking get the fucking gauntlet for Lady Death, right? That was the reason in the comics. So they gave him more motivation in the movies. Mm-hmm. So they would do the same thing with Galactus.
No, what's the motivation?
Let me explain what is wrong with all this. You ready?
Please. I want my brain to fry.
So, with Loki, just going back to the whole Loki thing again, because that's what we were talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say this is Loki. Loki dies. I've enjoyed that show. I've had it now.
Why don't you talk with no food in your mouth? How about you do that first?
No. Look at that.
There's Tyler that I know.
All right.
Really? Did you just do that?
Yeah, please.
Did you just spit the food back up into your hand, bro?
Idiot. Anyway,
anyway, and then we'll get
Nerd man. I have a suspicious feeling. Because Marvel, I think Namor was announced for.
So what happens is this.
All right.
Namor was announced for. It was rumored to be it. I think, and this is my theory. I believe that Marvel is hinting on the Hulk as the maestro for the next big bad villain.
Oh, that's fuck off, man.
Really? Nah.
Have you seen? Do you know what Maestro does though?
Yeah.
They've ruined the Hulk.
No, I don't.
Remember.
They're not going to use Universal fucking IP character as the fucking main villain for Marvel for the MCU.
Yeah,
they can use him as a villain, but they can't.
That's why they don't give a shit about the Hulk because he's borrowed like Spider-Man.
No, because they can't use Namor. They can't label a movie that's Hulk, but they can use the villain if they want to. Oh my lord! Okay.
Who do you guys think should play the villain of the MCU? Like, let's say we're casting Doctor Doom. Who do you guys think it should be? I personally think Adam Driver would be an amazing Doctor Doom.
Ooh, not bad.
You are a Doom fanatic. I love Doctor Doom too, but he is not a compelling character, dude. He's mostly a Fantastic Four villain because I read Fantastic Four, so I should know that Doctor Doom is specifically fighting them most of the time. So how he complain?
Loki was specifically fighting.
He brought the Avengers together. Yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference. He brought the Avengers Loki was the first part of the Avengers, first issue, not Doctor Doom. Come on, people, be real with what we're gonna spew it right now. Like, he's not. Doctor Doom is a good character. I'm not saying that. Doctor Doom has complexities too. I agree. But Doctor Doom is not a Thanos level villain. If you think that, then you're delusional. Sorry.
All right.
He is a Thanos level villain. He might not be a Thanos level villain. He might not be a Thanos level villain, but now we've lost our team leader, Iron Man. So I would suspect they would give him a slightly less villain than Thanos, wouldn't you? Because they don't have a full team now. They haven't got Cap, they haven't got Iron Man. what we're going to have Riri Williams.
We still have
about her. Sorry, not trying to be racist here.
Right,
I don't want to go see a girl go pick up Iron Man's thing and go, I can do it better than Tony Stark.
We have 2 more phases to go. We'll find out then.
Exactly. But if we were doing Doctor Doom, who would you guys cast? Just really quickly. I would personally cast Adam Driver.
I'd have Jude Law as Doctor Doom.
Not too bad. What about you, New Man?
I would have cast Mads Mikkelsen if he wasn't, if he hadn't been, already in it, or the guy who plays Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones. I don't know if you guys are Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah, I can see him. He could work.
Yeah. Other than that, I know you guys are not. Are any of you guys Jupiter's Legacy people?
Oh yeah, I watched the entire series.
No, you didn't watch it.
I haven't seen it. No,
I saw the entire.
So I wanted to discuss Jupiter's Legacy being cancelled, and also what we think, like comparing Loki to
Tony. It's Kane, not Kane.
Other comic book shows. What?
I'll say this: Jupiter's Legacy was probably canceled because it's trash.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, Enzo, but you're not wrong.
It was canceled because it was probably factor. It was.
He wants to hit me right in the look. Dude, Jupiter's Legacy was better than fucking Loki.
Okay, I'm leaving this show. It
was better than Loki. It was better than Loki.
You are.
Okay.
In your
Warren,
MCU,
I'm gonna leave. I'm leaving.
No, this is
Nerd
Man, you can't.
MCU.
I saw every. No way, Nerd Man. You tell him you're capping me now. No way. First of all,
better in almost every way. I'm dead off serious, bro.
What? So you telling me this? You telling me the first episode with that Black Star that mixed between between Darkseid and Thanos for the first episode was a good? Oh, come on, there, man. You're on coke.
Had better action than Loki. Had better action than Loki.
It's the first episode.
There you go. It had better action. Did it have better action, Warren?
After the first episode, how much episode?
Have better action than the first episode of Loki.
No,
it didn't. Did you say that truthfully?
I'm saying it truthfully because it was first of all.
Okay.
No, I can say that truthfully. First of all,
okay, so we've established it had better action than Loki. First,
it didn't. No, it didn't. That thing was hot garbage. Stop lying. You're capping, dude. Jupiter's Legacy was stop it.
No, but it had. I liked it because it took a different approach to the deconstruction of like superhero characters, specifically Superman, than they usually do, which is like always, oh, what if Superman was evil? This one actually had a story like that went into what if Superman, like, or a Superman-like character really doggedly and stubbornly kept his moral beliefs in this time in the modern world, and what are the responsibilities of a superhero of that much power? And I think it really did a good job of exploring that, and everything it did. It was like 2 shows. It was the show with the old people and the show with the younger characters. And I think the show with the older characters, and when they were going back exploring the origins, was just a much tighter, better written, more compelling show to me than Loki was, or any of the Marvel shows, or any of the MCU shows so far.
Jupiter's Legacy sounds like a snore fest. Just the way Nerd Man sounds like a snore fest.
This man is on.
It doesn't have like.
This man is on shrooms, then. So there's no way Jupiter's Legacy is better than.
Because WandaVision was such a fucking mesmerizing, amazing show.
I give that show a 6. So let me not.
It was so good to see a worse version of
Jupiter's Legacy had more yapping.
That was brilliant.
So you're telling me Utopian's daughter was more compelling than more of the characters throughout the MCU.
I like Utopian's daughter, so you can't
okay. No,
on me.
I'm done. No, I'm done. I'm not even. I'm not gonna say.
She was a good character. She was interesting.
No, she was a brat.
Conflict with her father was so. Are there brats in the world? Are there people who are brats in the world? Are there people who are spoiled or?
I know. I put on the first episode, and there was dialogue, and I went and did some stuff. Cause I told you I was doing some stuff during the day, so I was doing some stuff, but I had it on, and I know when I came back, there was more dialogue. I went and did some other stuff. I came back, and there was more dialogue, and I was like, "Do I want to watch this show? Probably not." And I never watched another episode again yet. So
look, you can say you can say anything you want, right? Like, but you didn't watch the show.
I watched it.
You just said to me is that you didn't watch. All right,
I watched it.
Watch it, and then we will have this debate. And tell me if there's if Loki has one episode that is better than the episode where
by far the first episode was better.
Where Utopia has does a psychotherapy session. That episode, you know the one I'm talking about, Warren, where he does a psychotherapy session
with the villain in jail.
Thanks for spoiling it for Enzo. I was trying not to spoil it for him, but thank you.
It doesn't matter.
He's gonna watch it. He's gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, but I mean,
it's not a big
spoil that there's a dialogue in jail.
Better than that. There's any episode better than that, then I'll wear a wig for a day to one of my classes.
Okay, I'll take you up on that.
I'll take that bet, please, because you are in some. You are drinking like I don't know shrooms mixed with Molly and ecstasy.
Come back, Kiwi. Shrooms with. See, you guys are such simp. You simp so hard for your MCU.
No,
man.
dude. That's not true. That's not true because I like the boys and I liked Invincible.
Okay, so the boys is better. The boys is better. The boys is better than anything that any of the MCU TV shows.
The boys is better than some of the MCU shows. I can agree with that.
100%.
Oh yeah,
one.
I can agree with that.
The boys is better than WandaVision, and the boys was better. And the boys was better than Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Some of Falcon and Winter Soldier, not all.
No, all of it. All of it.
No.
All of it.
Invincible. I watched Invincible. That's a good show. I watched Invincible. That's a good show.
Guys, I'll tell you what. Seth Rogen produced both of those shows, Invincible and The Boys. He is doing damn well, and he knows what he's doing. They should put him in charge. I reckon they should put Seth Rogen in charge. Here's a hot take. I reckon they should put Seth Rogen in charge of the DCEU.
Fuck that. Guess what? The Jupiter's Legacy. Guess who was showrunner of that? The guy who did Daredevil. Right? That show was a show that needed more time. It needed a little bit more time for it to develop, but it was a really intriguing concept and idea. And once we got to the final episode, I definitely wanted to see season 2. And I think there's a lot of people who agree with me. That was a much more sophisticated show.
No. Not enough because they canceled it.
The themes in it were, that's because of our generation. It's because of our generation.
Because we like good shit.
Because you like terrible shit.
We like good shit.
Your DC nonsense. Your DC vomit is being spewed right now, dude. Come on, man.
Look, I'll be fair. I don't mind. Well, actually, they were pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
thank you. Stop capping.
Loki is the first episode is good, right? But those two other shows were close. They were bad, dude. I don't know how else to put it. They weren't
Falcon and Winter Soldier is not okay. First off, people always my problem with the whole Falcon. I'm not saying Falcon and Winter Soldier is a 9 out of 10. I gave it an 8 on a good day. I gave it an 8 on a good day or a 7. The problem with the Falcon.
An 8 in comparison to what?
On a good day. On a good day.
A 7 in comparison to what? Let's give it. Is it better than Dexter?
Oh come on, man!
Why you always? Yeah, you always go to these like movies that have nothing to do with superhero movies.
Yeah,
you know?
Is it better than Daredevil? Is it better than Daredevil?
You're like that's like you telling me do I like
Daredevil?
That's like you asking me, do I like Wendy's or do I like Shake Shack? Come on, man, that's not fair.
Is WandaVision better than Superman and Lois?
No.
Okay, is it better than
yes, for me,
better than Daredevil? WandaVision is better than Superman and Lois.
It's not better than Daredevil.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We didn't get into the Superman and Lois stuff, right? But I can't stand the kid. I can't stand the kids, bro.
T-shirt that just
I can't stand the kids, bro. I cannot stand those kids.
Your Jupiter Legacy. Okay, my thing is, I like, believe it or not, I like that Watchmen show that they had on HBO. Believe it or not, too. I thought that was pretty decent.
Better as well. That's better.
Watchmen show was good.
Oh, Tony, please.
It's better as well than WandaVision and
Tony is capping. He knows he liked Daredevil. Stop lying. A lot of people like Daredevil. Stop that.
Tony's on point though. It's overrated.
Do you think Daredevil is overrated?
Yeah. Daredevil's overrated.
Crazy. If anything, it's underrated.
How was Daredevil overrated?
Because I told you, like I said earlier on the stream, I don't like the guy that played fucking Matt Murdock. I don't think his acting was that great.
He was excellent.
Nah, man. There are scenes where you can tell that he's like he's actually looking. He doesn't like when you watch, and because I'll compare it, and I don't want to do the comparing to different movies, but when Al Pacino. Yes, because when Al Pacino did fucking Scent of a Woman, he went Oscar because you thought he was blind. He really convinced me that he was blind. Does Daredevil? No, he didn't do that for me.
You realize he's got superpowers, right? He's not technically just blind.
Yes, I know that, but still, he's still
right. So he's not going to be like Al Pacino.
All right, got it.
Still didn't seem like
I got it. No, never mind.
Not going to be like
Enzo did it for me. It's like the Mortal Kombat semantics. Okay, we don't even need to discuss this.
Not even close. Not even close.
Listen, Enzo, he's pretending to be completely blind. That's the whole point of his character. So you see that he's pretending,
but he still can't see everything
as a character. So that's the whole good thing about how he plays the role.
That he still can't see everything. He can see certain things. He can see, like
if so well that he might as well be able to see.
Nah, fuck that. Nah, it didn't work for me.
Okay, anyway, Jupiter's Legacy. Jupiter's Legacy. Since you want to be, you're on shrooms too. That was a terrible show. I saw all 8 episodes. After the first episode, I didn't get action until God knows when. I'm not gonna spoil it for Enzo, but let's just say it's God knows when. Put it that way.
For action?
In Jupiter's Legacy, that show had the action. You got action in the first episode, and then let's just say you keep twiddling your fingers. That's all I'm gonna say to you.
Ah, shit. See, Tony's on point.
Why is it got to be action? Just because it's a
superhero movie.
No, it's not.
No. Okay.
That is not like Joker's good. That doesn't have action in it.
Okay.
I didn't really like Joker either.
That's not what I'm talking about. Like constant action. I'm talking about like.
You don't need action. Sometimes comic books are about more than just fucking action.
So wait, hold on.
I'm not watching
the morality of it all. Yeah, you're not watching because you just want action. You want somebody to punch. No, punchy.
I read it because I like the story too.
WandaVision was so full of fucking action, wasn't it?
Did I say I like
action in WandaVision?
I want to find a stream where I said I like WandaVision.
But it's better than Jupiter's Legacy, yeah?
Jupiter. Yeah, that's a hard question for me.
All right. Okay. So it's not a hard question. It's a very easy question.
WandaVision is better than Jupiter's Legacy by far.
All right.
Yo, I don't got much to do tomorrow, so I am going to sit back and I'm going to watch. How long are the episodes? An hour?
Yeah,
they're usually about 40. On average, 40 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch a few episodes tomorrow, and I'm gonna send you a message to let you know what I think of it.
Yeah, and also, here's a good point. Kingpin was not only one of a really good villain for Daredevil. He's one of the greatest comic book live action villains ever. Period.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, Lord.
No.
We need to get some holy water on this fool, man. I don't know what I'm hearing.
No, he was
Okay, come on,
not.
tell me who's better. Tell me who's better than him as Kingpin.
How does Pickle deal with you?
Tell me who's better than Kingpin.
Pickle, where are you, dude? Killmonger is better.
Killmonger.
Zemo
was better.
Zemo was better.
Vulture was better.
All right. So stream over. Thanks very much for joining me today. Jesus Christ! What
Vulture was better. No,
Vulture, and you're trying to tell me Zemo, Baron fucking Zemo, was better than Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin.
Yes, because think about it this way: he is a regular man in Civil War that caused heroes to fight themselves.
The performance and the writing of the character.
The man was on the superheroes had no ramifications and he lost everything, and he used what they did to question their morality.
He killed his own father because his father was
he's a crime boss.
But then he ends up becoming the very father that he hated. His mother, his relationship with his mother, his relationship with that woman that he loves. You almost, Vanessa? Even though he was a complete even though he was a complete psychopath, and he was so, he was so brilliant and manipulative, and you rooted for Daredevil, but at the same time you still rooted for him and Vanessa's love. It was genuinely like conflict where
okay, so you like
him and Vanessa.
No, so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. You like a person that is a racketeering, drug lord, a swindling character who controls most of New York City, but says he's trying to make it better. Okay, you're delusional. I don't want to hear anything more. You like he's a literal crime boss, and you're saying that's someone relatable. When he as a character wanted to.
The whole story is fleshed out, and the performance by the actor, even the performance by the young actor, but the performance by the actor playing him is just so much more convincing. You see step by step how he is turned into this fucking evil, pathological fucking monster. But yet, you feel for him because there is one genuine good thing that he does want, and that is his love for Vanessa. The love for Vanessa humanizes him, and you actually want him to succeed, to be able to get away with her, get away from this situation with her. And Daredevil keeps coming.
Do you have a shotgun?
I was gonna say, should I bring out the violins? Because the way Nerdman is talking, I feel like violins should be playing in the background.
I need a shotgun. Tyler.
I need to jump off a fucking.
Do you have a crossbow to shoot me in the heart? Because I'm hearing is just.
Can you send me into a forest full of rabid wolves, like just to eat me?
But I have a picture of Nerdman that I can make into Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, that's the same guy that likes Lex Luthor over.
Yeah, over Zemo.
The word cheat as soon as Fisk. I'll say this: Winston the Fisk was better than fucking Lex Luthor.
Hashtag my Mephisto.
And this is somebody I defend. He was better than every single DCEU villain. Period. Every single MCU villain, every single DCEU villain. That's it. That was a great performance. You have to look to Heath Ledger's Joker to even start talking about somebody on the same fucking level as Vincent D'Onofrio in that show.
I don't even think he was better than Hela. He wasn't even better than Hela.
Okay, we need to. I need like Nerdman. Do you have rockets so you can blow up my house? Because what I'm hearing is just explosion, and I just want to blow my head out. You really think Kingpin? You think think about the character of Zemo, right? This man, he went on regular.
Look at that picture. The picture of Warren.
Thank you. Hey, you know what? Mephisto's very powerful, so bow before me. But think about the character of Zemo compared to Kingpin. This man literally tracked what known things about Hydra. If you look at deleted scenes, he gets them to fight each other. He almost succeeds. Do you know why? because his only driving force, he has no wife, he has no kids. You know how when you realize that his family's dead is when he starts playing that recording. That scene makes you want, like, nobody wants to lose their kid and their wife. How can I relate to Kingpin when he kills his
You guys are like, look at these simps, Andrea. Like, dude, come,
simps?
Dude, I'm not even prepared for this. If I wanted to do a thesis on like this whole thing of why I would have studied that show again and watched that show. I haven't seen it in a while now, but I remember I watched it back because it was so good. It was so fucking good. That third season,
I watched it once.
Way over the edge, man.
Oh,
like he was just a fucking ruthless, dastardly. Like he had plans on top of plans on top of plans, and the way they were going back in a chess match with each other, him and Daredevil, was absolutely incredible. I'm sorry, man. He was. You genuinely.
Are you guys gonna hate me when I tell you that I've got all of Daredevil on DVD and I haven't watched? I've only watched like 3 episodes.
I'm not surprised, Tyler. So
yeah, me neither.
Man. Tyler, who cares? Anyway,
you can skip it.
The general, the genuine sense of dread that he put Daredevil in certain episodes was fucking amazing. Like where, you know, I think it was like the 3rd season where like he's on his way to a court to testify or something like that, or they've got somebody to testify against Wilson Fisk, and he gets all the cops and everyone to, dude. The speech that Wilson Fisk gives at the end of season 1.
Is it because he's bald?
Right?
Because he's bald?
No. The speech that Wilson Fisk gives at the end of season 1, where he's talking about being the Good Samaritan. He talks about being the Good Samaritan, how he always saw himself as the Good Samaritan, but in fact, when he thinks about it, he is not the Good Samaritan. He is actually the person who steps upon the guy that's in need or whatever of help with wicked intentions. That whole speech he gives is fucking biblical, and it's literally better than any villain speech I have probably seen in any comic book movie.
Thank you for bringing me on, Nerd Man. I appreciate it.
I'm actually gonna step out because I gotta get some sleep, man. It's 4:30 in the morning here.
I don't. Sorry, Enzo. Sorry, Enzo. What are you saying?
It's okay. No, I'm just saying I'm about to step out because I'm getting tired. It's 4:30 in the morning here. It was fun. Thanks for having me on, Nerd Man. Warren, Tyler, take care, guys.
Take care, man.
It's okay.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out. Nerd Man. Okay, like I'm not disagreeing that Kingpin Wilson Fisk wasn't a very compelling, good villain, but to say that he's the best, come on, man. Like Wilson Fisk was a street level person. Street level villain.
I'm gonna play some of it, and you find me a villain that has done a better speech, or just tell me a better speech. I'm going to play some of it.
No, man. I think there's someone trying to get in.
Who's trying to get in? Oh, yes, I see. It's very funny. Yep. Help me. I have no neck. Yep. Good.
He's a fool.
I know. It's hilarious.
My photoshopping skills are getting really good.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. Lex and BVF. Let's listen to this for a moment. Because I think you don't remember.
Well, there goes the monetization.
I don't care. I don't get monetized anymore.
Well, there goes your life on YouTube.
Don't mean nothing. I'm not a religious man. But I've read bits and pieces over the years. Curiosity.
This guy looks such like a bad actor. Why the fuck would someone watch him?
The man. He was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was set upon by men of ill intent. They stripped the traveler of his clothes. They beat him, and they left him bleeding in the dirt.
It's hardly any sound.
The priest happened. Saw the traveler. They moved to the other side of the road and continued on. And then a Levite, a religious functionary, came to the place, saw the dying traveler. But he too moved to the other side of the road and passed him by. But then came a man from Samaria, Samaritan, a good man. He saw the traveler bleeding in the road, and he stopped to aid him without thinking of the circumstance or the difficulty it might bring him. The Samaritan tended to the traveler's wounds, applying oil and wine. He carried him to an inn, gave him all the money he had for the owner to take care of the traveler. As the Samaritan, he continued on his journey. He did this simply because the traveler was his neighbor. He loved his city and all the people in it. I always thought that I was the Samaritan in that story. It's funny, isn't it? How even the best of men can be deceived by their true nature.
The hell does that mean? I was muted.
It means that I'm not the Samaritan. That I'm like the priest or the Levite.
Dude, this is just depressing and boring.
Of course it is, because you're an MCU simp. You don't understand like good psychological freaking acting. Anyway, you make a good point that it's out of context. It's not as great, but in any case, the whole speech that he gives during that is fucking much better than I've seen like of most of the MCU villains.
What?
And it's really that simple.
Okay, never mind.
You're pushing it.
Please tell me what's the next topic, because my mind's about to be.
Did you and I just agree for the first time?
Yes, it's amazing.
I know, right?
We're in the same reality. We're in the same reality.
I know, right?
Anyway, guys, did you manage to watch Superman and Lois?
No, I have not watched that.
No, I haven't watched
it. All
it
right,
either.
then. If that's the case, then I'm gonna leave it because I have to get going for my work as well.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave it there. But you guys have been great. It's been a great debate. I'll have to do the Superman and Lois review by myself once I get to where I'm going today. So look out for that. I should have that up by tonight. Superman and Lois. But apart from that, thank you for joining me. I still have no neck, and Warren. Really appreciate it.
My name back.
These people are fools, man. That's all I have to say.
I don't know what to say about him. But anyway, guys, do me a favor, give me a high five, smash the like button if you enjoyed the conversation. Did you have anything anything else that you wanted to say? I pretty much was going to say about
I want to have a bitch fight with Warren. No. What I want to say, when I was doing my chip analogy, I'm being on a serious note here.
I have to go.
I spit out the chip. I'm trying to be serious. I'm just doing an analogy. So you spit out the chip, and now you're giving that same chip back to the audience after they've experienced that chip.
It's a good speech, Bruce.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to make sense of.
Hey, man, you have a good day. I'm all right. Thank you, Tyler.
With Loki.
You have a good night.
Okay, all right. Fine.
Warren, wait, just a second. Tyler, I really have to go. So, if this is not a serious thing, I wanted to just talk to Warren and just say, what does he have to? The last thing he has to say about Jupiter's Legacy being cancelled. It's all very funny. I really do appreciate your humor, but at the moment, anyway, Warren,
that was not humorous. No, I was trying to actually make a serious analogy. Clearly,
okay, we'll do it after. Go on.
In regards to Jupiter's Legacy, I would have liked, as much as I thought the first season was just a big exposition. That's what I'm gonna say, without spoiling anything. I would have liked the second season because I felt like the second season would have ramped up for Jupiter's Legacy. So I gave the show a 6 to 7. I didn't think it was a bad show. It was just a lot of yapping, and like the action was not. And I get it. You don't need a lot of action, but that's what I felt about Jupiter. I felt like the second season would have made up for the first season. That's my honest opinion about Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought. Like, basically, I'm sad that it got cancelled because I did see what some of the problems were, but I thought the problems could easily be resolved, and they had a really interesting premise. I think, you know, what they could have done is focus a lot more on the older team and focus like what once they'd become superheroes in the 1930s, what happened, how all of the tensions and the betrayals and all of that kind of occurred, because I really wanted to know how like the flying fox guy or whatever his name was, how he became a villain, because he seems like such a good guy in the first season. So I just thought there was really interesting stuff there to be explored, and maybe they should have got to that sooner. But nonetheless, I'm sad that it's been cancelled. I just wanted to come on and say
technically it hasn't been cancelled. It's been cancelled, but as always, there's still the chances that they can bring back the show. They're still working with all the team, all the creative team, on board for the next show. Super Crooks, I think is what it's called, and that's the next
which
show.
is going to be much more like. It sounds like it's just going to be much more like The Boys and what's that other one? The cartoon one that they've done recently. Invincible. It sounds like it's going to be much more like that, and I liked Jupiter's Legacy because it was a little bit more of an original concept.
What I'm trying to say is, if that show goes well, they have enough fans because of it, Netflix will see that and they might be like, oh, okay, people want more Jupiter's Legacy, let's greenlight another season. It's as simple as that, dude. Like, seriously, they can greenlight and shut down a show at any particular time, no matter how far through a show is. There's always a chance to bring something back. Look at Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think they've moved from over 3 networks now since they started. If you have fans behind you, dude, which it sounds like they do, you can get anything back up and running.
That's true. I'm not even trying to be funny. I do have to go because let's just say I
have to go as well. So, dude, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say, give it a smash the like button. Do like and subscribe, obviously, for more discussions. This was a great debate that we had during this. It was very fun. I don't think we achieved much because I hadn't got much preparation for like Daredevil versus, Loki, for instance. But yeah, it was still very, very enjoyable having you on. And apart from that, do comment. Tell me what you think of Loki. Do you think it's got as much buzz as the rest of the shows? About Jupiter's Legacy as well. Let me know if you were upset it was cancelled. And we'll continue the conversation in the comments. But apart from that, I'll see you on the flip side, and I'll 3,000. Peace.
See ya.